Hi friends, welcome back to Alice Playworld, bringing you some more Heroes of the Storm. Today I'm really happy to bring you something that I've been wanting to do on the channel for quite some time. Actual gameplay from the ESL Major League playoffs over in Europe. We have here on the left side the blue team comprising of Vala, Jaina, Chen, Brightwing, and Arthas. That is G2.Kinguin from Germany. On the right side we have the red team comprised of Muradin, Johanna, Zagara, Jim Raynor, of course, carries him. This is Team Roccat from Poland, and is going to be quite an exciting matchup, I hope. I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any of those names. I'm not quite familiar with these two teams. As this is a relatively new scene, I know sort of the standard teams that you think of when you talk about, like Cloud9, Na'Vi, Temple Storm, that kind of stuff. But I hope to become more familiar as we watch some more of these replays. Of course, we have both teams sort of coming up here as is customary. Of course, Brightwing heading to the bottom lane because he can't teleport in case anybody runs into trouble. I'm going to try to do a little bit of poking there. Good creep surf there. Zagara, she drops some roaches. These are going to go to the lane and give them vision off, of course, that bush, which is really fairly to play. However, Arthur's coming back here, countering that with a little bit of damage to make sure he gets rid of the creep tumor. This could be potentially a gank push. It looks like Johanna gets caught there. It throws out the punish, just a little bit of damage. Jaina poking with that crossbow, but it does not look like it pays off of anything. Zagara's going to return to the top lane, as is Chen and Jaina, maybe, although she is cycling back down here. Vala poking a little bit with that W, and of course forcing them back. What you're seeing them do here, if you're not familiar with high-level tournament gameplay, they're basically rotating between the middle and the bottom lane to make sure they get the entire creep wave, and then after that they will going to rotate as a team all the way back to the top. You don't lose any experience this way, and you also have a high gank potential as you're moving forward as a team. You can see with double tank, really difficult for the blue team to engage. Vala doing a little bit of poking there and not really much else. It looks like a good Howling Blast is going to catch Karazin, but there is no follow through because he's on the other side of the bush. They don't want to risk a hard engage there as they continue doing this little rotation down here. Brightwing's going to have a little bit of trouble dealing with this, but again, he can't teleport at any time. The shrines are coming online. Looks like the blue team going all the way to the top, but of course Zagara with enough vision there to back out. She needs to potential engagement in the middle lane. It does not look like it. Basically, Vala's going to continue to poke, do a little bit of damage, trying to soften up the lane, but really can't do much else about that. It looks like Zagara on the top lane being forced to deal with Chen and Arthas. It's going to have to be a little bit careful, and for the moment being on the bottom lane, of course, Muradin grabbing that hole onto that shrine. Here comes the rest of the team. Brightwing knowing that this can happen, but she's going to stay out here and try to soak a little bit of XP and not get too excited. It looks like the blue team making that rotation. Almost gets a pick there on Zagara, who barely makes it back as she manages to drink from that healing well. Of course, they haven't grabbed the shrine yet, but they also got to be mindful of not losing any XP here in the middle lane. Vala waiting cautiously in the bush. She just come out here to do a little bit of damage. Poke again, but of course, the red team, Team Rocca, doing a lot of damage and making sure they clear all of that. Finally, Chen grabbing that shrine on the top lane, and here Muradin just basically farming minions in the bottom lane. This lane has sort of evened out as the red team begins to take some mercenaries. Zagara continue to basically just hold the line right here. Chen, a very difficult person to deal with, as he's just going to sit there and drink, even though she's doing a lot of damage to him. It's really not enough. It looks like the mercenaries finally got here on the bottom lane. Brightwing unable to really catch this. He doesn't know where the enemy team is. Of course, Muradin waiting there to see if he needs to rotate top or engage in the bottom lane. Good encounter here in the middle lane for Team Roccat, as they're basically just pushing down and bullying, making sure that the blue team, G2.Kinguin, can't really do anything about it. This Sea Giants are going to begin to do a little bit of damage. That's why Muradin is going to try to shove this into the actual tower so they can get some potential damage going out here. It looks like Arthur's trying to grab some Mercamps here in the top. He does catch them, but he has to back up. He's really low on health. Vala coming down here. Tons of poke, tons of damage going on Johanna, forcing her back, but Karazin there to heal them up, no problem. The biggest loss, though, is, of course, they're going to be able to deal with these mercenaries who are no longer doing any siege damage. Vala padding up her stats. Let's go ahead and pull that up. As you can see, their hero damage 3,900 for Zagara, 3,300 for Vala, and everything's looking alright. Looks like Zagara still struggling a little bit. That mercenary push is going to get her into a little bit of trouble. She's going to have to deal with this, and these towers are going to take a little bit of punishment. On the bottom lane, you continue to see sort of the stalemate as Muradin continues to hold the bush there, and of course Arthas and Vala grabbing those giants. They're able to come here and engage. Big engagement. He does pop that E to try to basically slow anybody down who comes near. Muradin and Jaina dancing down here, as well as Arthas trying to force back Karazin. Muradin can't really engage if Karazin is being engaged on, so it looks like G2.Kinguin is going to grab the bottom shrine. However, on the top lane, Zagara grabbing their shrine as well, and now we're having a little bit of trouble down here as they're pushing severely down this lane. Tons of damage going on. It does not look like that Stormbolt hit anybody, and they already take a tower down. They're about to take the second one down. Tons of pressure coming out. This is not enough for them to defend. You see Johanna there, and Raynor sort of flipping and trying to come back to help. Of course, Zagara is still dealing with Chen in the top lane. Rainer's going to come in here and try to do a little bit of poke action. Does move the Giants a little bit back just to give them a little bit of breathing room, and they should be able to deal with this. However, those towers are going to be quite a bit of experience. Looks like Johanna gets caught out of position, but presses that D to get out of the Howling Blast. Not a big deal. Does take some more damage from the Blizzard, and they're able to regroup momentarily. For now, it looks like Roccat grabbing the shrine on the bottom as well as the top, and as long as they can hold it, they should be able to grab the Dragon Knight. A little bit of a misplay there as they leave prematurely. Looks like Zagara forced to go in here and fight Chen. They're going to basically just start trading blows back and forth. Chen very low on health though. Zagara able to do a ton of damage. She does walk out though, which means they no longer have the shrine here in the bottom lane, and it also means that she's not really going to have to fight for that anymore because it's really not worth it for her to die over that now. Arthur's grabbing the bottom shrine as well. Here comes Merton to contest it. It looks like they're going to have a little bit of a slugfest. Good Thunderclap. There was the Stormbolt doing a ton of damage, but Arthur's of course with that E too strong for Merton, although he does decide to go away because the enemy team coming here in a second. It looks like the rotation's continuing pretty well. As you can see, they're level 8 to level 8, fairly even in experience, even though, of course, Roccat has been a lot more diligent about those rotations. It looks like Vala gets caught there. It takes a couple looks from Rainer, but however, she does make it into the tower and to the safety. Here on the bottom lane, you can see there are both towers also a little bit pushed. That one's already out of ammo, just recovering 2 shots right now, which is fairly even with what the enemy team did. Of course, those 400 XP still being slightly ahead. It looks like Arthur's coming down here preparing for some kind of engagement. He is going to rotate top and try to catch Karazim. It looks like they're going to run into each other. There goes the slowest reel. However, Karazim punching, healing himself. Vala doing a ton of damage with a W on the Hungry Arrow. He does dash away. Now Rainer getting caught out of position. He does pop that Inspire to get a little bit more movement speed, and Karazim healing them with a Breath of Heaven. They managed to make it to safety absolutely no problem. On the top lane, still Zagara and Chen, the love story of the century, as they're going to continue to poke each other. Chen eating some tower bullets there, not even a big deal. He's just going to continue to drink the Hunter Killer full damage. They are going to jump in here. Great Howling Blast from both Johanna and Rainer. Going to save Chen's life. Whereas Zagara hot on his heels. It looks like Arthur's doing the smart thing and blocking the flank here from Rainer and managing to save his body panda. On the bottom lane, of course, Brightwind and Jaina kicking Meriden out of here with a lot of pressure. However, the top lane was just caught, and that means that now both teams are going to just go home with 1 each. It looks like a big engagement here. Karazim managing to dash to one of his minions and manages to stay alive. We're at level 10. That means we have heroics. Let's look at the picks here. We do have Hyperion for Rainer, Avatar for Meriden, Blessed Shield for that Johanna, Maw, and of course Divine Palm. On the other team, we also have Strafe, Ring of Frost, Blink Heal, Storm Earth and Fire, and of course Army of Dead. That means Arthur's going to be a little bit tankier, which is probably a smart thing because Zendragosa is going to have a little bit of diminishing returns on this matchup. Looks like a big engagement there. Johanna does get caught with Howling Blast. Tons of damage. The Ring of Frost as well catches Karazim. Tons of damage going on. He does palm himself. He is going to get taken down. No, yes, he is. He saves his own life. Now the counter dash trying to kick Arthur's back, but he is pretty much safe. And here comes the healing from Brightwind starting to kick in. That Hyperion is just out of the way at this point. Great amounts of damage and healing going on here from this Army of the Dead. You're going to be able to grab a tower and then maybe even 2. Johanna trying to go in here and disrupt things. But that is enough damage to pick up the kill there. Vala going in and shooting one time just to make sure that happens. Of course, a penetrating round from Rainer, just kicking her back, trying to be obnoxious. It looks like here in the bottom lane, Brightwind continued to try to hold the lane, grab a little bit of speed, a little bit of Soak and protect his Giants, but it's a little too late as they do get taken down. The top lane, we continue to have this little love story as Zagara sends some presents and changes drinks. It's a little sad. It looks like Arthur does face check this. He does get caught. Great Stormbolt. Tons of damage. Here comes Brightwing teleporting to make sure she gets a shield to her friendly Arthas, and of course they make it out of there no problem. The Giants are caught though, and they're going to begin to push the bottom lane. However, this is fairly even, and they do have a strong presence here, G2.Kinguin, so they're going to be able to deal with this no problem. Meriden trying to poke in, see if he can contest this. It looks like they're going to be able to do just that. They're going to grab this bottom shrine. That means they also have the top shrine because Chin's been there drinking diligently. He does pop his heroic to turn into Earth, Wind, and Fire. Does a ton of damage. Zagara getting out of the way. However, Johanna doing the right thing and going here to contest that just so that they can get it. But Chin jumping in the nick of time, blocking that, and it looks like the first Dragon Knight of the game going to go to G2.Kinguin as Blazik basically grabs it, begins doing a little bit of damage. It's going to stall till her friends can get here. He's going to put some fire there on the well, kills it, absolutely no problem. Of course, the monk coming here, trying to do a little bit of damage. He is going to get punted away. Here comes Johanna as well to try to disrupt the Dragon Knight. On the bottom lane, while this is happening, Arthas, Brightwind, and Vala pushing this forward. Meriden trying to basically push back, but he really can't. He's not equipped to do that. Karazim's going down here to help. So now, really great strategy here as the enemy team is going to be forced to either contest with the Dragon Knight and, of course, this push bottom lane. It looks like Rainer gets punted to join the fight down here. Arthas doing a ton of damage. Vala poking Karazim really hardly. However, that Stormbolt does catch Arthas, and it's going to force them back. Brightwind doing a lot of healing, not really a big deal. They're going to turn around. That Howling Blast does miss, and good penetrating round, keeping them at bay. Basically, they're just stalling. Meanwhile, here in the middle lane, Johanna doing enough damage along the tower to basically along with the Ford to basically kill the Dragon Knight. He can't really do much else other than get those walls. And he's going to be forced back out of here. Big engagement on the bottom lane. Tons of damage going out. Arthur's stunned for a second. Does pop that E. And, of course, the Army of the Dead heals him up a little bit. Great penetrating round, keeping him at bay to make sure he can't land any Howling Blast. The Dragon Knight does go down, but Brightwing gets an Arcane Flare right on the 4. That's a kill. And Meriden, very low on health, manages to escape that Howling Blast with just a little bit. Enough for him to be able to make it back. He is going to be recalling for the moment being. Checking back on our lowest on the top lane, it looks like Chen finally getting OP enough to where he can actually be really, really aggressive. About to take down that wall and maybe a tower or two. Cigar just carefully doing a ton of damage. You can see there 41,000 hero damage from Cigar at the moment, just because she's been wailing on Chen nonstop. And of course, he's going to get kicked back. Johanna carefully in the bush here, trying to get a good opportunity to maybe assist. It looks like nothing really is going to happen there. And of course, you see the teams grabbing mercenary camps as they ought to be in between shrines. It looks like these ones already done from G2.Kinguin. Roccat basically slightly behind, but they're able to secure that as well. The Giants are the only thing that are missing. I'm supposing they're going to roll to that. And of course, you see Chen back on the top lane, soaking a little bit of XP. Well, we have a little bit of lull in gameplay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the talents. It looks like Vala is building the amazing multi-shot build. Jaina doing a pretty standard sort of AoE build. Brightwing going for that shield. Chen doing Chen things as you would expect with a shield as he's getting chased down here. For the moment, it looks like Meriden's going to continue to chase. Brightwing teleports to give him a little bit of a shield. That means they're going to go for the flank. Great Blizzard placement from Jaina. Basically does a ton of damage to Roccat, forced to go back. It looks like Raynor coming out here doing a lot of poke, but really not enough because Chen does not really care about that. Even some banelings at 1 out, but of course these mercenaries taking the majority of the damage means they're able to take a tower. Vala continuing to poke, continue to do a ton of damage, and they're gonna get a tower. That's 400 XP, almost 1 level ahead. G2.Kinguin is a great Howling Blast, catches Raynor, tons of damage. The Ring of Frost fails, and it looks like they're gonna force him back. Raynor gets bombed, but his Adrenaline Rush basically makes it completely useless as the pump goes away and does not do any healing. It looks like Chen continues to chase here, almost gets the kill. Vala with a multi-shot and kills him, but really low on health, and she goes down as well as Karasim, and of course Zagara gets taken down in the residual damage. Johanna managing to be the lone survivor there of that combat as she retreats with Meriden, who was not there, but says, you know what, I'm not going to be doing that. Look at the rest of the towns that we're looking at. I think you see Arthas there going for that block, Frozen Waste, Rune Tap, Army of the Dead, and of course Biting Cold. Really, really good Arthas build. Is making it a little tanky, but does not make him completely weak. It looks like, of course, Zhao is going to go ahead and grab this. He's just checking that bush with the Howling Blast. They're able to secure both shrines, and of course in the middle, Chen grabs it. That's the second Dragon Knight of the game. Things turning pretty well here for the German team. That's basically the Polish team is going to grab these Giants and they try to deal with this. It's already hitting that way, begin to do a little bit of damage. It forces Meriden to do the Twarstoff to get out of the way. He is going to punt him that way to safety because it looks like Arthur's already back. Johanna in a lot of trouble. Great Blizzard does a ton of damage, and there comes the Death Coil picking up the kill. And of course, now that Dragon Knight basically second landed. Here comes Brightwing just teleporting a couple inches away to make sure that he can give that shield to Arthas, who's going to continue to barrel down here. They should be able to grab this tower, no problem. It looks like Raynor dealing with a Dragon Knight is going to get punted one more time. 3 shots left on this Ford, which means he can pretty much go in here and start doing some damage. Great push here in the bottom lane. It looks like Meriden trying to do a Thunderclap, then do a little bit of damage, as well as that Monk's Breath of Heaven to make sure he keeps his fellows top. But the Dragon Knight coming down here, great Breath of Fire, takes down the tower and begins to barrel down, killing the walls so they have a better retreat, and they begin to do siege damage. Great Blizzard there. Meriden sees that response by basically dwarf tossing away. And now they have to die. The Hyperion is doing quite a little bit of damage, but really not enough. Vala begins to strafe, tons of damage going on Zagar. She's basically really low on health. Can she land anything? It looks like the monk does dash to her, does the Breath of Heaven. Chen in a lot of trouble, takes a lot of damage. Hunter Killer, no need as he gets completely destroyed. And of course, G2.Kinguin forced back out of here as Roccat is not interested in this. It looks like Sports Billy continue to chase. He's finally going to mount up, but it looks like the engagement is done and over with. Let's go ahead and go back to our damage wise. You see hero damage there for Zagara, 51,352. Vala, 39,000. Siege wise, we have Chen with 67,000, as we expected, as he was just sitting in front of those towers, drinking and then firing and whatnot. And of course, Zagara with 61,000. The amount of kills, you can see there are 4 kills to 2, with 6 forts and 4 forts so far. Early evening. It looks like Roccat doing an aggressive move right here, taking the enemy Giants just to make sure they can deny them. A strong push down here with the Bruisers as well. This is going to be really difficult to deal with because now the blue team has to go through these Giants. They don't know what's on the other side. They do see a couple members here. They don't know where Meriden is. I guess they do see him right there in the middle. But they got to be really careful with this engagement. They do lose that forward. They're now dealing with the Giants and the Bruisers. This is a devastating push on the bottom lane. However, on the top lane, Brightwing just soaking XP. Remember, he can't teleport at any time whenever there's a team fight. So might as well do that to try to counteract that push in the bottom lane. Now, of course, continue to hold on to that advantage. It's all 18-17 so far. It looks like a big engagement about to happen here. Ooh, great Blessed Shield denies the stun, but Jaina with a ton of damage on that combo. The pumpkins are just in the nick of time saving Johanna, but she's still very low. Chen diving on the other side. And that Great Maw is going to deny the rest of the team for the follow-up. However, Chen's going to stick to him like hot glue, doing tons of damage. The Hunter Killer goes on him. I don't think he cares, as the Monk does a little bit of damage and dashes away. He goes the Roach's pots and damage. All kinds of damage going down, but Chen just continues to drink through it. And of course, Jaina dealing with those minions with no problem. And now, they're just going to casually come in here and kill the top board, forcing the red team to sort of reply, but they really can't do much about that. This is going to be a guaranteed kill. 2 seconds to Shrine's Brightwind already getting in position. It looks like they're going to steal these mercs. Again, just to the nether, not really going to do much, but it might give the enemy team something to deal with. Chen engaging here on Meriden, pushing him back. Not a big deal. Raining grab on the Butter Shrine and the Giants as well here. So it's a good move to have Giants pushing while you're trying to fight for the Shrines. It looks like Chen running in there, though, is going to drink and dissuade this by stealing them. And, of course, great Howling Blast, but Raynor with the penetrating round prevents the play and makes sure he can get away. It looks like Jaina catching that bottom Shrine is going to basically deny it right now. Zagara getting to the top one as we speak, which means they're not going to be able to cap that because they're only going to have a couple seconds before Zagara, of course, denies that. Chen realizes that it starts moving top. Looks like Arthur wants to push down the gate, already doing a little bit of damage. We do have an engagement right here. Johanna jumping on Jaina. She is going to attack. Good Frostful denies this, but of course, Vala getting into a lot of trouble. Great Howling Blast into the Monk. Tons of damage from that Hungry Arrow, and of course, Arthur just pushing down here, slowing anybody down. The Hyperion does come out. That's why the Earth, Wind, and Fire. Tons of damage. The Ring of Frost, incredible! Catches the enemy team completely out of position, and of course now, thanks to that Avatar, Meriden surviving that, but really low on health. Here comes Karazim, about to get taken down by Chen's Little Spirits. It looks like he manages to heal himself just so, and of course there's Meriden still tanking tons of damage. Basically Vala and Jaina poking him. They do finally take him down, but he assists his teammates into getting to safety as Karazim and Raynor survive to fight another day, but maybe a little too late as the friendly team here, the blue team, I'm just used to the colors being friendly and hostile. G2.Kinguin continue to push down. They might get a keep here, probably going to get a keep here as they still have 30 seconds of uncontested push here. And this should be a ton of damage. Garrison's going in for a little bit of poke. Chen jumping on him. Brightwind as well with the polymorph, but he does manage to get away. And they're now going for a core push. Is going to be straight down here. Can they hold? Can they do anything about this? It doesn't look like it, as Raynor does not have enough damage, and of course Garrison really low. They do jump on Jaina, forcing the ice block. She's going to basically get taken down here. She does blink away. 23% core health though, and that is going to be good game, ladies and gentlemen. G2.Kinguin take game 1. My name is Al. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time.